The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of awkward sex scenes. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking about Vincenzo Natali's epic bio-horror movie, Splice. Hey everyone, welcome to the Salty Nerd Podcast. I am your host today, Matthew Kadish, taking over for Alex, who is out of town doing some stuff. And we're going to be talking about a very interesting horror movie. I don't know if you could actually call it horror, but it is very disturbing. And it is part of our retrospective on Vincenzo Natali movies, who is the director who did Cube, and he's done a lot of like really cool TV shows and stuff like that. And so we wanted to take a look at his movies and talk about them. And with me today is my fantastic panel of nerds, starting with Matt Vader 74. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Here we are.
Yeah, you didn't like this movie.
No, I hated this movie.
Did it disturb you?
Yeah, I did a viewing party with this movie with our people and our patrons.
I'm glad you had people to help you through it.
Well, I had a couple. Most people said Splice. I don't know. And I'm typing along and I'm going, man, if he fucks this thing, I'm out.
Wait for it.
That's exactly what I said. I said, if he bangs this fucking thing, I'm done. And sure as shit, it's like, God damn it. And yeah, sorry to ruin the surprise.
Oh my God, but, you spoiled it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Weird.
And the Ambassador of Estrogen, Juju. How you doing?
Hello. I'm excited to talk about this movie. I wouldn't say you should like this movie, but it's a movie that is horrific. So, I mean, it did its job.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie, and someone who I think is going to be defending it with us is our sit-in for Alex, Conspiracy Tom.
Yeah, I will be defending it. I do actually like this movie. I've seen it multiple times. Now, I don't like it because it's enjoyable. I like it because it's horrifically disturbing. At everything about this movie, it makes it uncomfortable, which is why I really liked it, because fuck, they did a good job about making me not want to watch that movie. Like, you want to turn it off all the time.
100%.
And you're like, oh, I'm going to sit and keep seeing what, okay, that's where they went with it this time. Okay.
Just when you think you know who the assholes are, it flips it.
It's wild, man. This is an emotional roller coaster. I had awkward boners. It was just a weird time, man.
Yeah.
Just a really weird time.
Oh, also David Hewlett's in this.
Yeah, that was the cool part.
That was the cool part.
Yes, indeed.
Well, you know, it's weird when I see people that we know in movies now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always David Hewlett because he's like one of three people we know. But it's cool. It's cool watching people.
Yeah.
You know, you've talked to in real life.
Yeah.
In a movie, it's very strange.
It
didn't make me like it anymore.
It's like when I first met Matt, I was like, "Whoa, starstruck over here." Whoa.
Yeah, I am a blue check mark.
Hey man, I watched him give out.
Never misses an opportunity to tell you his blue check mark.
I've seen him give out 2 autographs before.
No shit.
Yeah, it's really strange.
That is sexy.
I've been having a very nice conversation with Adam Baldwin, who's quickly becoming my new best friend. So, all because of Twitter.
Look out, David Hewlett.
Look out.
Yeah, he's got some competition, doesn't he? But we're going to be diving deep into this movie. We're going to be talking about it, and it should be a fun conversation. But first, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Nerd. Yeah, I'm a nerd.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the show. Just want to give you a quick heads up. If you like what we do here and you want to help support us, go download a fantastic mobile game called Dragon Champions. Just go to saltynerd.com/DC, and that'll take you to the appropriate app store to download this fantastic game. I've been playing it since launch. It's a lot of fun. And if you go to the promo code area and type in the code SALTY, it gives you a kind of starter pack where you get like a bunch of bonus character shards and gold.
Vader's playing it right now.
Yeah, he really is. I do my dailies. I've been playing it for like 3 years. It's a really fun game, and the makers of the game have really kind of like been good at supporting us and helping our show out. They're fans, and we want to return the favor. So if you guys download the game and use the promo code SALTY, it definitely goes a long way towards helping to support the show, and it's a fun game to play. So
and it helps you get free stuff.
Indeed. All right, guys, so let's talk about Splice. Jude,
Let's
take it
do
away.
it. 2009, Splice, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour 44 minutes. This had a budget of $30 million. Tom, what do you think this brought into the box office?
15.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Vader, what do you think?
I think it broke even. 30 million.
30 million. Okay. This had a budget of $30 million and a box office of $27 million.
Ooh.
Just shy of breaking even.
Yeah.
It broke even eventually.
It was
That's pretty good.
It was not a hit,
No.
unfortunately.
It's too weird, man.
It's very creepy.
It's so weird.
Yeah. You don't know what you're getting yourself into.
I'll tell you about it.
Well, lay it on us.
yeah.
Two science assholes make a baby using human DNA spliced with several other animals, and then fight in front of it, fuck in front of it, lock it away, take its pet, experiment on it in a barn, try to drown it, fuck it, tell it it's bad, tell it they love it, tell it that it's just science, bury it in the yard, and then are shocked when it turns against them, changes sex, kills David Hewlett, and then goes full Oedipus on its mom, who just keeps going, what's the worst that can happen? Bitch, you got your own science grand splice inside you now, so that. Discuss.
Good job. That was great.
That really wrapped it up. I was like, don't forget to mention it also fucks her. She did. There was wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
So this movie was originally going to be the follow-up to Cube that Vincenzo Natali had planned, but it was going to cost too much money, and the technology for what he wanted to do with it wasn't quite there yet. And so like he had it kind of like on the back burner for about a decade, and finally was able to drum up enough money from like a Canadian and French production to make this film. And I think when I was watching it, I turned to Jude and I was like, I hate this movie. And it's not because it's a bad movie.
It creeps you out.
Yeah.
I was like just under a constant feeling
You had
of
to keep getting
ickiness.
up and walking out of the room.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's an
Oh, yeah.
extremely
Yeah.
uncomfortable
it's
movie.
it's a movie that, and it's good in the fact that it makes you hate it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You
yeah.
hate everyone in it by the end,
Yeah,
too.
and that's why I guess it does its job, which
Yeah.
makes it a good movie.
Uh-huh.
But
Oh,
it-
yeah.
But it's a good movie that I literally never want to watch again.
Yeah, and there's
There you go.
no
Does that
one
make
to
sense?
root
Oh,
for.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah. No.
I think that's one of the genius parts about a Vincenzo Natali movie is that he thinks things through, and he's very deliberate with like how he presents stuff to you. And from the opening frame of this film, you're just in a constant state of unease.
Yeah.
Like the way he shoots it, everything has this like kind of like sickly green tint to it at the beginning of the movie, and so like you just feel icky. The acting's really good. Like I really thought Sarah Polley was
I love her.
really strong in this movie. I felt like Adrien Brody was just kind of like sleepwalking through it. But this is a very small cast. I could have used more David Hewlett in this movie.
Oh my
to
God.
be honest
Adrien
with you.
Brody is so emo through the whole thing.
His brother's very emo too, yeah.
And his chain belt wallet thingy. The whole movie is so very,
His emo haircut.
oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this movie, it's basically Mary Shelley's Frankenstein meets Jurassic Park.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's the basic concept of it.
I'll give you that.
Powered by Big Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And how good they are.
In typical
Yeah.
Vincenzo fashion, there are so many deeply layered themes to this movie, like what it means to be a human, the importance of the family unit, you know, like,
Mother-child relationships.
you know, evolution, like all types of things like stacked on top of one another. And I think that it's unfortunate, and we're just going to get right to this right away. At a certain point in the movie, Adrien Brody fucks this creature. You know, they have sex together. And
You fucked your step monster.
and well, it was a very awkward scene because not only is it like is it a different species, it's basically a monster that he's having sex with. It's also his surrogate daughter that he's having sex with.
It's very weird.
And so originally the scene was much more graphic, but like the studio cut back on it. And what's unfortunate about this
Was she
scene,
like choking him with her tail?
I honestly don't know. But what's unfortunate about this scene is like in my research of this movie, I saw a lot of videos where basically people said like when they were at like the premiere, when the scene came on, people started laughing because it was like so ridiculous.
When I listen,
People laughed.
I laugh when I'm really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism. People are always like, "Why are you laughing?" It's like, I don't know, because I'm really fucking freaked out right now.
Well, what was crazy is there's a Grace Randolph video back when she was doing like stuff for like another company, and she went to the theater to talk to people who were coming out of the film, and each one of them said like, yeah, like around the sex scene, I just walked out, or I just started laughing, and it feels like to like a T, like everyone's up, like on board with this movie up to that point.
Yes.
And then at that point, they're just like, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was like a
That's
terrible,
the point.
terrible miscalculation on Vincenzo's part to have that sex scene in there, even though I know why he did it. But I wanted to hear your guys' take on this. Tom, can you kind of shed some light on this? Does that sex scene work for you?
Yeah, it does. It plays. Every step of this movie is like a further psychological breakdown about how fucked up people are, right? Mm-hmm. And it's basically him fucking his daughter.
Yeah.
Right? That's basically the scene. And the horrific nature of that just alone is just absolutely terrifying, right? Like that relationship, right? But it's also like the woman, what's her name? Sarah Polley is the actress, is that right? But also it's like her degrading
Elsa.
because it's a lot of foreshadowing, right, throughout this whole movie, and the whole time it's their daughter, right? But it's the whole time it's them, right? And it's their take on humanity. It's the director's take on humanity. It's the core of people. It's a disgusting, horrific nightmare movie. So why not put in one more horrific nightmare, disgusting scenario of just pure incest, right? And it's wild.
And you see it coming.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And but even as you're like, oh shit, I know this is about to happen.
Yeah.
Even while you're experiencing that, like you still are like, oh God, I hope it doesn't happen.
And as a leg and ass man, it's just very awkward for me to get into that scene. I'm like, I don't know what am I supposed to be looking at.
I mean, she's got a tail.
And chicken legs.
Bird legs are so
But there was a whole scene leading up to that scene where they were like dancing, and he was like, hey, I know, like, you know, you're feeling sad, so like, let's dance. And while we were watching that scene, Jude was like, oh, he's gonna fuck her, isn't he?
So you ready? I have more because I've seen this and thought about this much.
Okay.
So she adapts at like every opportunity, right? Well, what if she's like dosing him with pheromones?
Yeah, so like they introduced this concept
Why is it
of
maybe she's just
imprinting.
dosing him with pheromones and he can't control himself?
Yeah, there's this concept of imprinting that they introduced like very early on.
Yes.
And if they had made it clear that like she was doing something to manipulate him into having sex with her, that would have been one thing. But they don't do that.
Yeah.
It's just basically at a certain point, Adrien Brody's like, yeah, I'm going to tap that.
Well, even prior to that, the mom, Ilsa, walks in and finds like drawings that she did of Adrien Brody. And she's like, oh, have you done any of me? And the child, Dren, is like so mortified that she found the drawings of the boy she likes, not of her father.
Yes. There's so much awesome creepiness. I mean, the levels are amazing. It's foreshadowed the entire movie that she had some nightmare upbringing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when she becomes the mother, she becomes
She
a
just turns into
nightmare.
a psychopath.
Yes. And it's so like, it's all played out. There's a lot of foreshadowing. I think this movie is so disturbing on so many levels, and it executes the whole way through. It is awesome.
Yeah,
fucked up
Guillermo
it is.
del Toro actually produced this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
And he seems very supportive of Vincenzo's like weird, fucked up takes on things. I think they're kind of on the same level.
I get
Guillermo
that.
del Toro loves creepy.
He loves a good monster,
listen,
right? That's his thing.
The creature was great.
Terrifying,
It was
right?
terrifying.
Yeah.
From the get go.
Oh yeah.
From when it was a little zygote in the fucking
It was like
petri dish,
like a rabbit
up until
thing,
the very
whatever
end.
the fuck that was.
Yeah, it's just the creature just designs, the special effects,
It has the death tail.
all the lab stuff.
Oh, yeah.
the two little maggot looking things.
The penis slugs.
Yeah,
Blech.
I mean, it was all done very well.
Oh yeah.
I love that part of this movie.
Oh yeah. It's a well done movie.
And it starts off, they're just scientists trying to do this like medical breakthrough, and they're so excited about their research.
Hey, where is this lab?
What this means. And then the money behind them is like, shut it down.
Yeah.
We're just gonna make you do like research from now on. And they're like, fuck them. We're going to go under the radar. We're going to create something that's going to make it's going to cure cancer. And that's how this gets really out of line.
So the movie actually starts off with them birthing like a whole new species. And like we see it from the point of view of the species as it's like birthed, and it's super weird. But this new species, it's not the monster that's in the movie. It's not Dren. It's actually I call it a penis slug because that's what it looks like. Yeah, Fred and Ginger. And what this new species is meant to do is it combines different DNA from like different animals in order to produce a certain type of protein that they can then use to like cure diseases. And so they're being funded by a pharmaceutical company. And one of the interesting themes about this movie is the difference between right and wrong. I think at a certain point in the movie, Adrien Brody says like, we've thrown the rules out the window. There is no more right and wrong, because she was getting on his case about like fucking their surrogate daughter monster. And so like he basically says like, well, what is that
on his case?
Yeah. Like what does that even mean? It's like we should have never gotten this far, but like we've thrown everything out the window. So like, what does anything even mean anymore? And that's an interesting kind of theme to the movie in the sense it's like, once you start playing God, is there any line between right and wrong? Is there any morality anymore? Or is it just like, all right, we're just going to keep going no matter the consequences? And it's a very interesting, like deeply layered theme in the movie. I think one of my biggest criticisms about the film is that by the time we get to the third act, it just becomes a straight up horror monster movie.
Yeah.
Whereas before, like they're kind of dealing with like deeper themes. I actually honestly thought that like at a certain point, the pharmaceutical company was going to try to like kidnap her and like kill her and harvest, like whatever protein she makes. And the parents would have to like try to save her, or we'd have some type of moral kind of like dilemma where
it's too obvious.
Where it's like, we have to kill her, but should we kill her because like, she's the savior of mankind and all this other stuff. Like there's a lot of different ways this could have gone. And I'm kind of disappointed that at the end they just made it a straight up horror movie with a monster in it.
Yeah, it was not a feel-good movie, Matt. No. Matt's like, I was really hoping that they'd be like a family at the end, and then like being doing school pictures.
I mean, the way that they ended, they could have done a sequel of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Although one of the interesting aspects of Vincenzo Natali movies is like he always leaves an ambiguous ending. Like he never actually like definitively says like this is how this is ending. And he's actually been asked about doing a sequel to this movie because, as you know, Cube got many terrible sequels to it that he had nothing to do with. And he was just like, yeah, like you could do a sequel to it, but it didn't make enough money, so nobody cares. I honestly didn't think that the studio knew how to market this film because originally, because of like the sex scenes and stuff like that, the initial production company was just going to do direct to video. But then it played at a film festival and Warner Brothers picked it up for American distribution. And so the company that originally produced it was like, well, if Warner Brothers is going to release it in theaters, we'll release it in theaters in Canada and stuff like that. And so like that was
Canadians don't watch anything.
Yeah, Hewlett's in it. He's Canadian.
But I remember when this movie came out, I was living in LA and I saw posters about it, and there was like a lot of like critical buzz for the film and stuff. But every time I saw a poster of like the weird head with like the split down the middle and stuff like that, I was like, I don't want to watch that at all. I don't know if
that
you guys.
That monster's not hot enough.
Oh, that's a good point.
Well,
yeah.
That is a good point. But the I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I really dislike like medical stuff. Like I hate watching movies or shows about like surgeries and like just anything.
He's very squeamish.
I'm extremely squeamish, and so like this movie didn't appeal to me at all. So this was a first watch for me, actually.
Oh no shit!
How did you react to the milk dud scene in Seinfeld when the milk dud went in?
I turned it off.
It's like,
but
it was a junior mint.
Oh, junior mint.
It's a junior mint. But it's far less traumatic.
But you know what I feel like was a heavy influence on this film was like David Cronenberg body horror type stuff.
Yeah.
Like The Fly. Like I got a big David Cronenberg vibe from this movie. And I hate David Cronenberg films like that. Yeah, like I like his like dramatic stuff
for the same reason, right?
Like Eastern Promises, but like I have a hard time watching The Fly. I have a hard time watching Crash. Like there's all types.
You've been fighting me on watching The Fly for months, and now it all makes sense.
Well, I hate body horror. I hate biological horror stuff.
What's that new one coming out about the surgeries and all that did not play well. I think it's got Viggo Mortensen in it.
Listen, man,
Vigo.
I can't.
Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future. That's the one.
I don't watch shows on TV like Dr. Pimple Popper because I hate this shit.
It's creepy.
I absolutely hate it. You know
who likes it?
Who? You?
True crime enthusiasts.
Yeah, doesn't sound good.
Why do those two genres blend?
I don't know. But you know, well, I kind of wish we had made him watch this movie.
You're right.
Because it would be
He's
a
in the
wild,
chat right now.
He would be a wild conversation if you had Tom and Alex and me not here. Because the conversation would be completely different right now.
I just want to say,
because when I'm watching this movie, right?
Yeah.
My brain is immediately going to, this is fucking real. This shit is happening.
Oh, this shit did happen.
There's labs like this in every fucking big pharmaceutical
Don't get
company.
me started. I mean, call me Conspiracy Tom, Don't get me started.
I know. And I 100% believe that this kind of goofy shit goes on. I don't know if they're making,
this goofy shit. These silly gooses are out there just like sillying with it.
I don't know if people are out there fucking their weird creations they create in the lab. But it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just it's too freaky of a topic.
That's why it's so disturbing. Because all of this plays to like the horribleness of humanity. That's the whole thing. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
It's so possible that it makes you that much more uncomfortable.
And it's just like fuck big pharma, man.
Even how outlandish this story is, you still relate to it on so many levels because we've all been in the room when like our parents are fighting in front of us, and it's so uncomfortable. And we've all been in the room when like somebody that you work for is like you're fired or we're taking your funding away, and like all of those things that happen along the way, you totally relate to, and it's unfucking comfortable.
That scene at the beginning that Matt was talking about, the weird, where it's the opening, where we're seeing the
birth canal situation,
It reminded me of RoboCop when they turned RoboCop on.
Oh, I got that vibe.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
I get that vibe. Yeah,
it's like put the screws on, it's just it was the same kind of thing.
I get that vibe.
The birth of RoboCop, the birth of the zygote.
Look, it's a fucked up movie on a lot of levels.
It's very weird.
It's a lot of levels.
It was heavily inspired by The Bride of Frankenstein. I believe that was one of Vincenzo's kind of like inspirations for this film. But at the same time, like it's kind of like a strangely small and intimate movie about like a family unit. Because at the beginning, like, Sarah Polley and Adrien Brody, they're talking about, they're not married, but they're talking about like having a kid. And
they're living together.
Yeah.
They're talking about getting
married?
a bigger place. No, they're not married.
I thought they were married.
I don't think they are.
No,
they're just living
they're
together.
not married. They're just kind of like partners.
And co-founders
living
of a
together.
company.
And they're kind of like hip, cool scientists. Like they just had like a Wired
They're
magazine.
like rock star
thing.
scientists.
Yeah, rock star scientists.
Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell of the
Yeah, pretty much.
You got it.
community.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, look at there. Great comparison.
But like Sarah Polley's character, Elsa, makes it very clear that, she doesn't want to like bear a child. And, Adrien Brody's like, well, we can talk about it later. And then, as this, kind of experiment ramps up and the creature like becomes like a real thing. It's kind of like the typical, like the dad wants nothing to do with it. And then like the mother's like, oh yeah, my baby. And so like, as the movie goes along, like you see this weird fucked up family dynamic kind of come into play. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like an interesting take on like, mental illness and, like, parenting and like, how do you screw up your child and stuff like that. And by the time it gets to the sex scene where it's basically like an incestuous scene, and then like at the
when
end,
that happened, I was like, okay, Woody Allen.
Yeah.
And then at the end, so one of the twists is that once she got Adrien Brody's DNA in her body adjusted and switched sexes, and so she became a male creature.
And that's super uncomfortable too.
Yeah, and the
boner.
The male creature was like a very aggressive. So like any male, it saw as a threat, so it would kill them. Mm-hmm. And then it ends up having this Oedipus scene where basically the first words that the creature ever speaks in the movie is "inside you," and it begins fucking Sarah Polley with its tail. And it's very uncomfortable. Like I think I had nightmares about that scene.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to get.
The whole movie's a nightmare, man. There's not one part of this movie that is like, Like you're talking about the family dynamic and all that.
Yeah.
There was a part where the little one, they were like teaching it how to eat. And it was like, "Look, we taught it how to eat." And they're crying. And then the next scene, he's drowning it as it's
my
trying
God,
to murder
yeah.
him. And
Yeah.
you're just like, what?
It's one of those movies where I don't feel like there's a single redeeming character in it.
Correct.
I didn't root for anybody, and I wouldn't have cared if everybody in the show had died.
The movie as a whole is what you're watching, right? So,
Yeah.
so you're not looking at individuals, right? Because they're all just parts of this
Right.
effed up story, right? So you just got to look at it as the sweeping, like dramatization of our worst nature.
Yeah.
And and it's believable on a certain level. It's far more believable than C. And
How dare you?
I think my favorite scene in the movie was when he tried to drown it.
oh yeah, and she's like kind of trying to stop him, but
Yeah.
not really trying to stop
Do
him.
it. Get the job done.
But there was that moment where
Yeah.
it was revealed that like, you know, the creature can breathe underwater, and Elsa turns to Adrien Brody and she's like, "Did you know that she could do that?" And
She
he was
said,
like,
"How did you know?
Oh, yeah.
You did know, right?"
Yeah, and
and
he-
that's the point where he switches, and now he's like, I feel terrible about what I just tried to do, and now I'm going to become a father to it."
Yeah, he's a sweetheart now. Now she's the monster.
Yes.
yeah, but
Yeah.
there's also that subtle kind of like undercurrent of a statement about abortion, because like, like throughout this whole thing, Adrien Brody's like, I'm going to be the one to kill this thing. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. And then when he does, and it turns out that like he didn't kill it, he feels so remorseful that he's like, okay, I'm going to commit to this. But up to that point, he was the one who's like, we got to kill this thing. And
because they weren't supposed to let it actually get that far
Yeah.
anyway. They were just going to implant it, see what happened, get the data, and then abort it.
yeah.
Prove they could. Prove they could.
Prove they could, yeah.
And what's interesting is like by the end of the movie, like we've come full circle on Elsa's character arc, because she is now a mother who is carrying a baby to term, whereas at the beginning she was like, I don't want to do that. And so like it's kind of an interesting character arc here, where basically she had her chance to be a mother once, she fucked it up. Now she's got a second chance to do it, and she's willing to take it to the extreme.
And she's basically selling her baby for science.
Well, she's also selling her body, because like she doesn't know what the hell is going to happen with this. So it's kind of like a weird, fucked up, scenario here, where basically this is Elsa's movie. Like she's the main character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's a movie about motherhood and about child rearing. And it's kind of funny because at certain times, like you feel empathy for Dren because Elsa's just so terrible with her.
Right.
And then other times, like
And when Elsa's not being terrible with her, Adrien Brody's being terrible with her.
and then there are times where like you feel for Adrien Brody and Elsa, because basically Dren is like super dangerous, and they're trying their best. So it's this constant oscillation between like feeling sympathy for these terrible characters and then just like hating them. And it's almost exhausting
Yeah.
when you're watching the movie.
It is, and it's an exhausting movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good
Yeah.
word for it.
It drains you.
It's emotionally draining. It's a lot to handle. And that's why it's really hard to watch.
uncomfortable. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's mentally challenging.
There's probably
It's
a-
like,
5 stars.
Honestly, though, but there's probably 10 movies out there that you've seen that you were like, oh man, that was great. I ain't never watching that shit again.
I hated it.
Once is enough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like that. You know, there's just a lot of movies out there. You said Crash, and that's one of his, right?
No, that's David Cronenberg.
Right, Cronenberg. But Crash is like one of those, right? Like I remember I went and saw it in the theater, and I had no idea what I was going to go see, and I think I cried the entire movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's so disturbing and it's so messed up,
Is
right?
the one where they eat each other?
No, I think you're thinking of a different movie.
I'm thinking of Crash, the one that won the freaking Oscar for Best Picture.
So that wasn't David Cronenberg though. The one I'm talking about is the one where people get sexually aroused.
they get off on crashing.
Aroused by car crashes.
This is
the
a
other
very
Crash.
different movie. Yeah. But what I'm saying is,
continue your thought.
yeah, but the thought is like we can all think of 10 movies or 5 movies that we saw one time and that was good enough.
Yeah.
Splice is that. You should
Yeah,
see it
that's
once.
definitely one of those.
Yeah, you should definitely see it because it's wild. And the psychology behind it and the deep dive of like the human psyche and how relatable, how terrifying relatable it is.
Yeah.
Right? The movie's freaking awesome.
And it's also
just hard to watch.
It's also about like kind of like our genetic future. Like
Oh,
this is
yeah.
all technology that does exist, that can happen, and it's like, where do you blur the line here? You know, they talk about human cloning, but there was actually no cloning going on in this movie. It was just like genetic manipulation.
They made
to
a whole new
create-
species.
Yeah.
It's like I think about things like it's like I listen to Rogan once in a while, right? And he's always going on about how you're gonna go get some stem cells this morning.
That's a real thing he talks about.
I went and got some stem cells.
Yes.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I went and got some fucking stem cells.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, you should go get some stem cells, make you feel great. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, and I really don't know what he's talking about.
It's exactly what you think he's talking about.
But is it?
Yeah.
But it just seems weird, and that's the kind of shit.
That's that rich people shit.
that this world stems. You know, it's very strange.
I also feel like Vincenzo delights in frustrating his audience and fucking with them, almost trolling them
Sure.
in a certain way, because like, you know, like if you watch any of his movies, like he does tend to like, you know, take pleasure in making the audience suffer, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
when you're watching it.
I mean, that's probably part of the fun of a movie like this. I can see that. You know, a good movie will make you run a gamut of emotions through the course of it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And
but
this movie definitely does that, except they're all bad emotions. There's no good emotions that come out of it.
none.
Well, yeah.
And I think that there was no way to find an audience for this movie, because it's like, how do you market this movie? Like, how do you find the people who are
You want
into
to get
this
creeped
thing?
out?
Yeah.
I got the thing just for you.
They made like 10 Hellraiser movies, and I don't know what the hell they marketed that shit to either. And then Hulu rebooted it.
Yeah, it's
so
terrible. I watched it this week. It's not good.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
but
lie.
Hellraiser is more of like a traditional horror movie, right? That's
Is it?
that's Clive Barker. That's like demons and hell. This is
80% of it is having sex with your skin off. That's like 80% of Hellraiser.
yeah, but I mean, like
Ugh.
for instance, this movie, like this isn't really a horror movie, because like up until the third act, it's just about like
It's a psychological thriller.
It's like Psycho. It's a psychological thriller. It is a mind-boggling psychological thriller where it makes you look at yourself and hate humanity.
right.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's awesome.
Wrapped up.
Are we
There you
ready
go.
for
Put that on the cover.
Put that on the CD.
That's on the poster.
Make you hate humanity.
It's a psychological thriller, but you hate yourself and your neighbor. Probably your parents.
but I do think it's interesting that like pretty much everyone who went to see this in the theater or like has seen this movie, like they get to the point where there's the sex scene with Dren, and then they're just like, fuck this movie. They're like, I'm with it up to that point, and then it either becomes an unintentional comedy or it becomes like a gross incest movie with interspecies sex.
See, I'm out. I'll see you at the bar when you come out of the theater.
But I wonder, like, if they had left that part out, if they had like just gone with like a different way of
Like implied sex.
or just like, you know, saying that like, okay, she evolved into like a dude or like whatever. If this movie would have played differently, if more people would have liked it.
I think people would have been more on board if there hadn't been the relationship that he had with her that was father-daughter when it goes to that scene. Like I think you can get on board with like having sex with something outside of your species if it looks human enough.
Wow.
Like
Hold on.
There have been
I want
other
you
movies.
I want you to say that one more time. And I want you to look into a mirror when you say it. I can get behind
That's not what I
fucking
said.
sexy dogs. Like if they're really cute.
What was that Mila Kunis movie where
Yeah.
she fucks the dog?
Jupiter
Channing Tatum.
Ascending.
Yeah. So
Whoa.
like there have been
Wait,
other
That was
movies.
Channing Tatum.
She fucked a dog.
With her ears, with weird ears.
Well, Channing Tatum was basically like a crossbreed with a dog.
In the movie, he says, "I'm basically more dog than man."
He's a
anyway,
he's
what
a mog.
He's a mog. He's
half
a
man, half dog.
He's his own best friend.
I'm saying there's other movies where this has happened, and it's a smoother transition. You're like, okay, this happened. Well, it's sci-fi, whatever.
Well, if it's a
But
comedy.
the thing that people were like, "Fuck this movie" about was because she's basically his daughter.
Yeah.
When he does that.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things is like the movie tries to justify it by saying that Dren's DNA is based off of Sarah Polley's character, Elsa's.
Doesn't make it better.
No, I know it doesn't, but like at the beginning of the movie when they start this experiment, they're using like a Jane Doe donor, and he and Adrien Brody asks, "It's like, where do we get this thing from?" And she's like, "Oh, it's an anonymous donation." And I was like, "That's her DNA."
Yeah.
It's so obvious.
100%.
Yeah, like
You know it from the beginning.
Yeah, there was no twist to that thing. So like when Adrien Brody finally realizes that like Dren's basically a fucked up version of Elsa, I was just like, yeah, like I saw that coming since like the opening 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a big thing, but
So I'm thinking of other shows. It's like we're all like bagging on interspecies relationships right now, but
Just bagging.
but you know, What about Kirk? And
I was gonna
Riker?
say, yeah, well,
I'm coming out firmly pro interspecies relationship.
yeah, but Shatner was doing hot chicks that could
Consensual.
speak English.
If they're green, it's cool. But
No, but they spoke English.
But if they have a tail and chicken legs, it's
I
not
mean,
good.
Riker bangs some questionable stuff.
Yeah, he
Hey.
did. It's like,
Aliens.
where do we draw
It
our
don't
line?
matter if it's alien.
I think I draw the line at a tail.
Yeah,
I think the tail's too
A
weird.
tail with a stinger.
Tail with
in
a
it,
stinger is
yeah.
too much. I'm not banging no scorpion chicks. I'm out. Yeah, that's my line.
the bald head, no problem.
Yeah.
The 3-finger thing, no problem.
Would probably get a good grip.
The chicken legs, no big deal.
Chicken legs are a little weird.
The
I'm not gonna lie.
tail kind of fucks things up.
Tail's the deal breaker.
You can only do so many
I'm
positions.
all right with a tail.
Oh.
Well, it's funny because the actress who played Dren was basically like a French supermodel type thing, and they digitally like widened her eyes to make her like look like less human, and she would perform in high heels to give her like that weird like gait and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So let's get final thoughts and a rating. Tom, what are your final thoughts on Splice, and what would you rate it?
Oh, okay, here we go. It is disturbing on every possible level. It is gory. It is terrifying. It's not scary. It's horrific, if that's the way to say it, right? It is a decent 3.5 eyeballs out of 5 eyeballs. I don't know.
Okay.
It ain't bad. You're going to watch it one time. You're going to talk about it for a week, and then you're going to try to forget about it the rest of your life.
And you won't succeed.
You won't, because it's going to haunt you for a while. It's just so many layers of psychology in this. It is very well done. I'm surprised the budget was as low as it was for how good the special effects are. It is not a poorly done movie. It is just really fucking hard to watch. But if you're not too squeamish, I say take an hour and a half out of your life and have some weird nightmares, because it's a fun ride.
Yep.
And you're gonna hate yourself a little bit if you don't see it, and you're gonna hate yourself a little bit if you do see it. So you know.
All right, Vader, final thoughts
I
and rating.
can't top that. I am literally exactly 100% on the Tom train here.
Yeah.
3.5 stars for those very exact same reasons. It's one of those movies where I said, I'm like, if he bangs her, I'm out. I'm not going to watch it, but I kept watching. I did. I kept watching. And I don't know why, but I couldn't stop.
What was worse, when he banged her or when he banged her?
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Or when they fuck right in front of it.
Yeah, no, that was
it was
cool.
a little weird. It's 3.5, but you only have to watch it once.
Oof.
For sure. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right, Jude.
I feel similarly. Like, I wouldn't say that I enjoyed this movie, but like part of watching a horror movie is the uncomfortableness of it, the horror of it. So I don't know what this movie is. I don't know if it's a horror. I don't know. I think it's probably more of a psychological thriller. I don't know where to put this in, but I think it did its job. I think that Vincenzo Natali set out to accomplish making his audience feel a certain way, and he nailed it. I might watch it again. This might be a movie that I would show at like a scary movie night.
Yeah.
Like I want to make people feel as creeped out as I felt. So
That's a hard
what
one
does
to
that
watch.
say about me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this 4 Adrien Brody's chain belts out of 5.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so we got 2 3.5 stars and 1 4-star.
Here we
Yes,
go.
sir.
Very interesting. So this is the exact type of movie I never want to watch. I'm never in the mood for it.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy this type of movie. Any type of body horror stuff is just, it instantly turns me off. I just don't like it. It's not my thing. But you know, in typical Vincenzo form, he layers this movie with so many interesting themes and so many interesting characters. It really was one of those things where, like, as I was watching the movie, I was like, who's the real monster? Is it Dren? Because there are certain times where, like, Dren's super sympathetic. When she's a baby, she's very cute. Even though, like, it quickly oscillates between cute and horrific, you know? And at certain times, Elsa and Adrien Brody's character are just the worst. And then, like, other times, like, you totally see where they're coming from and you sympathize with them. And I think that's one of the things that makes the movie so uncomfortable to watch is that you're never given a clear side to root for. You know, like just when you think like you're on Elsa's side, she does something so terrible and fucked up. And then like when you sympathize with Dren, she like kills a cat, you know, like it's just like super like we said that when you're watching this movie, you're in a constant state of unease, and that's exactly how it is. Where it's just an uncomfortable movie to watch, and that was very much by design, I think. And in that respect, Vincenzo nails it. It's brilliant. But in the entertainment aspect of it, I'm like, I don't want to ever watch this movie again. This is a terrible movie for Matthew Kadish to watch because like it just creeps me out and it's uncomfortable and I hate it. So I'm going to split the difference here and give it 2.5 Drens out of 5.
I have one more thing to add before we close. Star-Lord and Gamora.
Yeah, but she's cute.
She's green. It's okay. Green chicks are fine.
Fine. What about that little bug
Green
girl
chick-
in
She's sassy. She's sassy. I like it.
No tails, dude. That's the line.
Yeah, it's
no tails.
Because I want some cake. You know what I'm saying? I
I
don't
mean,
want
the big eyes aren't
Dave
even.
Batista and the little bug girl in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He doesn't
They're
fuck
hooking up.
Mantis.
Yeah, Mantis.
Yeah,
They're
she's
hooking up.
hot.
But she's cute.
She's got antennae.
But she's sweet and empathetic.
Yeah, and you don't have to look at her face.
And she probably won't kill you.
You know that you can grab the antennas.
Whoa.
Wow.
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 What?
Inappropriate.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe she likes having her
Maybe
antennas
she
grabbed.
does.
Yeah.
Oh, they all do, man. They all do.
All right, so that was our review of Splice. Let us know what you think about our take on it. If you've seen the movie, comment below on our YouTube channel and let us know your thoughts on the film. Why don't we go around and find out where you can find out about more of us? Matt Vader 74. Where can they find you on the socials?
They know where they can find me because we say it all the time.
You literally said
just
Matt
said it.
Vader
Yeah.
74.
At Matt Vader 74 on the Twitters and the social medias. Hi. Here we go.
And are you doing any watch parties?
I'm always doing watch parties every week. Just check out
I don't know anything about this.
our Discord.
Discord.
I do watch parties on Discord at saltynerdiscord.com. And I have a dedicated watch party channel that I make shout outs to everybody on the server when I'm going to do them. So that's
All
what I do.
right, Jude, where can people find out more about you?
You can find me at I am Jude Juju on Instagram and on TikTok. And check out our Facebook page at saltynerdgroup.com.
All right, and Tom, where can people find out more about you if they are so inclined?
Well, if you try real hard, you can Google me. I'm on Instagram, Big T2681. Say hello. I will say hi back. You can look at pictures of hot dogs or something that I took a picture of.
Hey,
What?
when did Instagram turn into TikTok? I hate it.
Oh, I had to
I hate it
block
now.
TikTok.
It's ridiculous.
I don't have it, and I keep getting ads sent directly to my post notification. I must have agreed to some terms and services somewhere.
I send you TikToks. That
You-
might be why.
I know, but so you can send them to me. I can't look at them anymore.
Really?
No, you have to download TikTok.
Yeah.
China really wants it.
Same with me.
Yeah.
All right, and on that note, you can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter and Truth Social. KadishBooks.com takes you to my Amazon page. And hope you guys like this review of Splice. And if you enjoy what we do here, please be sure to like and subscribe, and also sign up for our members area over at saltynerdclub.com. That gets you access to a huge back catalog of review content that I'm sure you will all enjoy. Anyway, until next time, stay salty, my friends.